Okay folks, it is Sunday and greetings from the workshop, and I'm going to entitle this episode A Tale of Two 650s. So here's the 77 frame and 78 engine slowly being disassembled, which is awesome. A lot of the stuff on this is just sort of bodged together, but a couple of really good wins off of this. That wiring harness, which was affixed to the bike, came with the wrong handlebar controls. Now, why would you say that's a win, Alex? Well, those go to a Mark II, so 78, 79, 80, so technically 79, 80 Mark II, and I know somebody, Will, who actually is looking for a set of those, so that's really good news. So this harness is complete. We've got a correct ignition here. We've got the correct headlight connector. It's a relatively unmolested harness as well, so it's really, really good. That is going to go straight back on this frame once we get the lump out and sort of tidy everything up. So now over to the next bike. So as you know, 77 and 78, the frame obviously being a 77 set up for drum brakes. That's right. Yes, I was waiting to see who remembered from the last video. Yes, drum brakes for the rear, which is not shown on there. So let us fast forward down to this end, more 650 harnesses. And let me show you the transplant that's been taking place. So this is essentially the front end of that bike. So that's the complete setup. This, as it turns out, which I did not know, is a C3 model. So technically, because of the build date and compliance date, this came equipped with dual discs up front, like this, which is a kind of a knuckle shape in the back there, if you can see. So dual discs, obviously dual calipers, splitter up the front. We've replaced the front master cylinder and main feed line. The handlebars came off of that bike as well. These are stock Kawasaki OE bars, which is awesome. The video I mentioned, or the last video where I mentioned Lionel Otto instruments, you can now see what these look like installed. These are absolutely glorious. This is an MGO key. So this is the original, you can see that. Let me lift that up, a little bit difficult to do it. There we go. That key is what would have originally come with Kawasaki's. Very hard to focus, there we go. MGO. So that's an original key, original ignition. We've got some kind of period correct fun grips on there, which came with the other bike. So this handlebar assembly, the left-hand perch, the grip on this side with the throttle tube, that's all from the other bike. The instruments are courtesy of Lionel Otto, like I said. We've got the wiring laid in. So this has progressed quite a bit. Probably the biggest portions are the wiring has gone in, as I'll show you in just a minute, and the rear brake assembly is now in. So other than connecting the supply line, which is right there, which will replace that one's too tatty, brake assembly, correct pivot. So this actually goes through the frame, might be able to see it there, goes through the frame in the back, and that is the back of the brake lever. So this style, which is a disc brake rear with another knuckle rear caliper, is only found on the C3 and is only found on early production. So to get this all sorted is a really big win. It's the correct master cylinder, the correct piping, the correct caliper, and the correct assembly up front. So massive, kind of really completes the bike. This would have been delivered with mag wheels, so these are correct. We're just going to double check the disc sizes tomorrow to make sure those are right, but really nice, tidy, used rear brake pedal, so that's awesome. Brake switches on the floor, brake switches installed. We need to change the wiring up there a little bit, which has been slightly bodged over the years, but that's easy stuff. So if we come around this side, what you can see going on here is now we have the main panel in here. So this is the regulator rectifier. That's your starter solenoid. The plumbing is hooked up to the starter, which goes over there. And obviously we have a new battery in on top. We'll be fitting carbies off. So what's holding this up at the moment is these little studs right here. So we need 8 on this side for the intake, and we need 8 on the other side for the exhaust. I think we have enough, but I'm just double checking. That's a nice 530 chain, so that's ready to fit off on there. Back wheel, obviously the tyre will get changed, as will the front, so these are just so it can roll around the shop basically. But generator is already installed under there, so that's ready to go. I'm just going to bolt it all up. Coils are in, so they came off that bike as well, which is really good. So, you know, a donor bike to make this one super original is a really, really good result. So we have custom paint. Put the handlebars up so it's like that. There we go. That's sort of more or less how it'll look when it's ready to rock and roll. We have custom paint that matches the same customer's Z1000 over there. I have a progress video on that one as well. That's coming very, very soon. Exhaust clamps there, and as you know, in that box, that's the checked baggage exhaust system that I picked up in Perth when I was over there. So it is all coming together very, very rapidly. Once I get the exhaust studs and intake studs, again, that's here, and you can see there where the tape is. We have those, which all need a bit of a clean, but they're all serviceable. They're all correct for this particular style of bike. They're going to go in. Essentially, then that lets me fit the exhaust system off. And we've got the correct exhaust hangers down there. There's one actually right there. They're not going to be blasted and repainted. They're just going on as is. They're straight, they're original, the rubbers are good. This one's even still got the bump stop on it for the center stand so it doesn't hit the exhaust system. So we're very close to being done with this. It's been a bit of a journey, and I'll tell you just on a personal observation, the changes that happened during production for Kawasaki, and I assume for all manufacturers, but particularly for Kawasaki, mean that in the space of that bike being produced, which is police, obviously, New South Wales Police, wire spoke front and rear, drum in the rear, single disc up front. So this is a 77, that's a 78. So in the space of less than a year, you had some pretty significant changes. The engine layout changes ever so slightly, the jetting changes ever so slightly on the carbies. There's obviously some quite big front end changes and rear end changes in that, you know, putting discs all the way around and switching from spokes to mags. So there's a lot going on. And then obviously you have half a year or halfway through this same model, they changed to a different rear caliper, which I showed you on the previous video, which is fitted to that bike, which is incorrect again. It's a late model C3 is what that caliper needs to go on. And then you have a variety of changes, most notably that the cam chain tensioner and guides all change. I think they refer to it as a hydro system or something like that. And that's about midway through 78. And then just to add to the fun and games, I showed you this in a previous video. This is a collection of Z650 swing arms, and at least we think they are. But you can see there is some significant length difference here. So this possibly off a Z1000. This, and that are definitely Z650. And you can see the variety in here of different style mounting things for chain mounts, different mounts points for chain guides, chain covers, rubbers for the brake hoses. Even the shock mounts are slightly different between these. This is a narrower shock mount over here. Then they changed the torque lever to a torque bar. So again, this is in the space of a couple of years. So there's an enormous amount to get your head around here. So I'm not going crazy doing this, which is kind of a good result. And B, we're getting there. So lots and lots more stuff to come about all of these bikes. But this one and that one and the Z1000 over there are the priorities at the moment. Honda, we're just waiting on the engine to come up. I'll have a whole separate video on that one. And once that engine is in that lump over there, the skeleton, that bike will come together pretty much within a week, maybe 10 days. So really looking forward to having that one out the door so I can reclaim all of this area. And this is going to become the Z650 area because we have another shipment coming in from Queensland being picked up tomorrow. It is a lot of stuff, so I'm going to have to clean these up. Trailer's going to stay at my house for a while, so clean all the stuff off of that, and that will give me some more working space to unload all the Z650 stuff and then sort it out so it joins all of these things. But then we have complete bikes that we start putting in boxes and labeling and getting them up on the shelving. And yes, believe it or not, there is still room up there. So that's it. Lots and lots and lots and lots of stuff going on. It's all good. Stay tuned for the next videos, plural. Hopefully this will become slightly less messy. We're supposed to be getting these traded in for LED high bay lights courtesy of the lovely government as a free upgrade. So all of that to play for. So there's still lots of stuff happening in the shop as well. And then we're still working on a 2-story mezzanine for the back of that. So heaps of stuff going on. Anyway, hope you've had a fantastic weekend. It's been very productive over here. Still looks chaotic, but there is method to the madness. Trust me on this one. Really, it's kind of almost like I know what I'm doing. See you, everyone.